Here are the second group, and this report is about development communication. There are three major values that guide development communication. The development communication is purposive, pragmatic, and value-laden. It is purposive because it communicates not only to inform but to influence the behavior of the receiver of the information. Development communication have a desired outcome in mind, target specific goals and objectives. DevComm is pragmatic or result-oriented. It is to check out the factors which contribute to the success or failure of a communication approach or program. The development communication is also value-laden. In DevComm there is a value consciously or unconsciously assigned in every message that one communicates about. In the Philippines, development communication uses communication as a means of promoting the four requisite values or 4Es of DevComm to make the development a reality. These are empowerment, equity, environmentalism, and entrepreneurship. Though DevComm is in the field of communication science, it's still different from the other field of communication. Aside from mass comm and communication arts, DevComm is also a close relative of agricultural journalism, agricultural extension, education, and basic social sciences like sociology, psychology, and economics. Let's differentiate DevComm from other communication fields. Mass communication and development communication. These are both branches of communication science, but they differ with their orientation. Mass comm is media-centered and has broader audience, while DevComm uses other available media that can best serve the developmental purpose, and it does not limit the use of mass media. Another field is communication arts. The similarity of this field to development communication could be pinpointed to the means by which each communication field uses, such as puppetry or theater. The aim and the focus of each of these communication fields set them apart. Communication arts enculturize man because it aims to convey thoughts, feelings, ideas about mankind, nature, or the universe. On the other hand, DevComm educates man. It teaches man how to improve his life by knowing how to provide for himself and his family the basic needs. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the development communication help man to fulfill the very base of the hierarchy, or basic physical needs. However, the communication arts aims for the higher needs of man and hierarchy, which is self-actualization and fulfillment. Another is advertising and development communication. DevComm and advertising aims to inform and persuade. Advertising techniques such as audience analysis, audience segmentation, and budgeting are widely adopted and used by DevComm practitioners in communication program. The difference is, in advertising, a one-way goal is to persuade consumers to buy a product or adopt an idea. However, DevComm presents several alternatives and tries to point the way for the receiver of the information to make a decision. Many ways, one goal. One more field is agricultural extension. The goal of agricultural extension and development communication is for development to take place. The difference is, agricultural extension was born in Western soil, and its concern is limited to agriculture, while development communication was born in Third World soil and agriculture is only one of its concern. Its other concerns are health, population, economy, and environment. Now, let's take a look at the historical perspective of development communication. The idea of communication as a support to development came from Erskine Childers. He was then the director of the Development Support Communication Service in Bangkok and expounded on the methodology of communication appraisal, planning, production, and evaluation for selected developing country projects supported by United Nations Development Program and UNICEF. By 1970s, Dr. Noor Kebrel supported the concept of Childer. She wrote a paper entitled Development Communication in the Agricultural Context. Basically, DevComm grew out of the field of agricultural communication. There were other development concerns that needed attention, such as the booming population, the economy, and reforming agrarian institutions. Development communication was the more appropriate name they gave the discipline they adhered in the profession they were performing. The history of development communication can also be discussed in terms of its institutional history. How the Institute of Development Communication, UPLB, pioneered in the field of development communication by offering the first graduate and undergraduate circular programs in development communication, and it was here where the term development communication was coined. Institute of Development Communication started as the UP Communication Arts Office of Extension and Publication. The office was created to disseminate information useful in improving farming and homemaking practices, and to inform the public about the results of researches. After more than a decade, it was converted into a Department of Agricultural Information and Communication, then later was renamed into the Department of Agricultural Communication in 1968. 5 years later, in 1973, the master's program was retitled into Development Communication, and a year after, the undergraduate curriculum in Development Communication was instituted. The Department of the Development Communication was born and offered a doctoral program in 1977. The department finally grew into an institute in 1987. By the year 1998, it was elevated into a full college of UPLB. In 1999, the college was named a Center of Excellence in Communication by the Philippines Commission on Higher Education. And once again in December 2012. Thanks to you all.